Hi, everyone. Welcome to Light the Torch with an amazing group of women and this amazing book, Sensual Symphony, out today on paper, not paper, on ebook. And we are so grateful to have this group of women that truly have been very vulnerable, open, and willing to talk about a topic that sometimes people don't want to talk about. But let's be honest, as women, we need to embrace our sensuality and use it as the superpower that it is, right? So I'm going to let the ladies go around and introduce themselves. Of course, my name is Heather, and I am with She Writes Studios. I am not in this book. I am here just introducing these amazing women to the world. So Sylvia Baker Hill, I'm going to have you go first. Can you please tell everybody a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your chapter and the takeaway you hope people can take from reading this book and your chapter?
My pleasure, Heather. Thank you for allowing me to show up here and sharing proudly this amazing, wonderful book, which now on my screen here mixed. Okay, here it is, Sensual Symphony. I'm so in love with our gorgeous, gorgeous cover.
Beautiful
It's,
cover.
I mean, just the cover is already sensual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the field of women's empowerment privately and politically for over 30 years, and professionally as a women's empowerment executive coach and mentor for 28 years. And the topic sensuality is simply crucial. And historically, we women were, in our sensuality especially, were demonized, judged, suppressed for thousands of years. And I really believe that if every woman's sensuality and sexuality were liberated, and let's say the majority, not necessarily everyone's, but the majority, and if men and all genders on the spectrum would live in connection with nature and earth and their own sensuality, I truly believe all wars would be over and the climate crisis would be solved very quickly. So for me, this book is from all the anthologies I'm in this year, literally historically the most crucial one. And I'm proud and excited. And if anyone watching this here wants to connect with my kind of work, I have a TV show called Flip It on Phoenix TV. You see the name Phoenix TV below. Phoenix TV is a branch of She Rises Studios, and there some of us, we share our knowledge, expertise, and guests for free. You just sign up with your name and email address and can enjoy hundreds of wonderful training and inspirational videos.
All right, thank you. I'm going to jump over to Lindsay. Lindsay, you want to tell a little bit about yourself, your decision to write in this book, and what you hope people take from your chapter?
Thank you, Heather. I oddly just had followed this one women's entrepreneur group, and Hannah's name just showing up. And I love palindromes, and her name's a palindrome. So I was like, I felt so connected to something and drawn into it. And one day I just took a leap of faith and took this opportunity. And my part in this, in finding that like trine connection between the sacred spirit, your sensual mind, and your sexual body, like those three things are such a like wholeheartedly rhythm to the divine and connecting with yourself in such a beautiful sacred union. And I'm like, as I've in the last 5 years like come to rise through that within myself, I'm so like grateful for the path that I've taken to be able to be present and take action and really be a safe container for women and men in my life and what I do in my work. So I love sound healing and I love breath work, and I love that it brings in such a beautiful space. So I'm a Southern Utah girl, and I'm so excited for this opportunity to grow and flip the new chapter into this whole experience. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to jump over to Anna Martinez now. Anna, you want to share a little bit about you, what made you want to write in this book and something that you hope people learn from your chapter.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Yes, my name is Anna Martinez. I'm a registered nurse and certified lactation counselor, and I help families with pregnancy, labor, delivery, postpartum, and lactation. And my first experience of feeling empowered as a woman was when we made the decision for me to have a home birth. I had all my girls at home with a certified professional midwife. And it was so empowering that after I had that experience, I've been dedicating myself to help other women. I'm not saying they have to have a home birth, but just letting them know that they have choices. And that's one of the reasons why I chose to write in this book about sensuality, because I think growing up as girls, we're not taught anything about being in our female, feminine energy, what it takes to be a woman who feels empowered, right? It's not just about education. It could be perfectly okay to be a mom. And that was one of my biggest struggles with my own motherhood, was trying to align what was okay and becoming that new person, right? A lot of the times when women give birth, everybody cares about the baby, but no one thinks about the mother. The day a baby is born, so is the mother. And so we all grieve differently, our past selves. And some women, even though they were ready to become a mother, they still grieve it to some degree. And so that's why I'm here. I've done a lot of my own exploration, anything from dancing, pole dancing, heels, Latin dancing, and to just really explore myself. Another thing that really surprised me when I became a lactation counselor was how many women were not comfortable touching their own body in a non-sexual way, right? We need to monitor our breasts for lumps, God forbid you have breast cancer, or we're trying to monitor to avoid mastitis. And so it's so important to be in tune with our bodies, to feel comfortable with our bodies. Our body is our temple, and it doesn't have to be at sexuality. And I think that's one of the takeaways from the book, is that I think a lot of society mixes up sexuality with sensuality, and they're two different things. Yes, we can express sensuality through sexuality, but they're completely different. It's about exploring our world through our senses. And so I'm hoping to get that message across. And I gave some practical tips, spiritual, physical, mental, right? Changing your mindset, and how to be in tune with your own self and become the woman you want to be and not feel guilty about it either. So I hope you guys enjoy my chapter.
I love that, Anna. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's really is sometimes just understanding our body, knowing our body, and then like listening to our bodies, right?
Yes.
That's something we forget to do. All right. Now, what about you, Miss Amber? You want to jump into this conversation, let everybody know a little bit about you, what made you want to write this chapter, and something that you hope people take away from it?
Yeah, so my name is Amber. And Anna, I resonated with everything that you said. That was amazing. So I actually didn't plan on writing in this book. I signed up a lot like Lindsay said. I saw in a Facebook group looking for writers for Beyond the Hurt, which is one that's going to be released in August of next year. But I was like, oh, that one really spoke to me. And then I kept seeing stuff for Sensual Symphony, and I was like, I don't know, do I do it? Do I not? Like, this is kind of bold. But then I was like, you know what? I'm bold. Like, I need to write in this book. And so like my chapter is a lot of like coming back to yourself. As women, we're told, different things, like how to act and how to show up in the world. And, I could talk about how we're born pure and innocent, and then we're taught how we're supposed to show up and how we're supposed to act. And, for me, it was like, be a lady, act like a lady. Oh, there was a lot of things on my body image. Unfortunately, my grandparents, who I loved and I looked up to, they said a lot of really hurtful things about my body. Boys don't like fat girls. And so I grew up completely disembodied, hating myself and not having a relationship with my body and myself. So my chapter is a lot of coming back to not only creating that sensuality with yourself and that relationship with yourself, but being able to have that to bring to the table for other relationships.
I love it. Yeah, being honest. So thank you for being honest and sharing that, and sharing, I'm sure, even more in your chapter. Body image is a real issue. It's an issue I deal with I have daughters, with them as well. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much you build them up, there's still something else that creeps in, right? And it's something I feel like we don't really understand until we're older and we kind of come into ourselves and realize none of that crazy stuff we thought before matters. But, wish we could like give them that peace of mind earlier so that they didn't have to suffer through that. So thanks for sharing. Okay, Lady Jasmine, jump in this conversation, share your wisdom with us. Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing this book to life. It is an extra special day for me because it is my solar return today, and this was not something I planned. So it feels very divinely orchestrated. So it's like, I'm just like over the moon about being a part of this anthology. And when I saw the invitation and the title, I knew that I had to be a part of this. Like, I just felt the calling in my soul. I didn't know how it was going to happen, and Heather knows. I just kind of it just clicked into place last minute, so it was meant to be. And I felt like it was really important to represent, especially as a brown woman, a woman from the East. In India, girls are programmed from a very young age. The culture there is by the age of 10, you learn how to cook, clean, sew. You speak when you're spoken to. You are a vessel. You are worthless without a man. And so it felt really important to represent the women of my culture, to like show them that you are not defined by culture. You are not defined by societal programming. But more importantly, in my chapter, Grace Through Fire, I go through the journey of what I went through as a child. And the big takeaway that I hope the readers take from my chapter is that, all the things that have been talked about here are so important. But what I go into is that no matter how much your body has been abused, you can still absolutely restore the temple. You can still absolutely come back to that point of innocence, of experiencing pleasure without it being sexual, without it being weird. And beyond that, pleasure, not just for the body, but like with life, with flowers, with cleaning the toilet. Like, what? How can that be a pleasurable activity? But that's what the power of sensuality does. It allows us to embrace the ick and the yuck and the messy, to really like come into this passionate way of being in this human experience that is going to have its challenges. And since everyone shared their titles, I am a trauma-informed empowerment coach. I specialize in nervous system restoration and complex sexual, religious indoctrination, trauma resolution. And I am certified in tantric massage. So I go deep. I go deep into the muscle memory. I go deep into the mind programs that are locked in there. And I do it very gently, but in like, I work with those sneaky energies. And so I'm just like, I feel like a huge 28-year cycle of silence has ended for me in the release of this book. And I feel like now a new book, it's not even a chapter, like a new book is beginning for me. And I don't know what it is, but I just feel so blessed to share in this co-creation with all of you beautiful women, and to share my light with all the beautiful women. And Ben out there, if you read the book, I encourage and empower you to do so, because sensuality is for everybody, regardless of gender. So I know the cover has boobies, but we all got chesticles, so we can all just like take a moment, just like, I woke up today, so delicious. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, Lady Jasmine, thank you. And I love the fact that you said restore the temple, and it is important for us to try to push past and understand that we don't have to fall on those cultural, societal guidelines, right? That we are evolving, that the world is evolving, that we can evolve into our own. So thank you for bringing up those points. So Dimitri, why don't you, Dimitri, are you there? Oh yeah, I see. So hi, jump in and share your take on sensuality and why it just spoke to you to write in this book and what you hope people can take away from it.
Wow. Thank you all for your vulnerability and transparency, because this is a very intimate topic, and you know, everyone almost said everything that I would say, so I'm going to wrap up in this way. My name is Demetria Anania, and my chapter is The Art of Sensual Healing and the Pleasure of Sacred Union. I start my chapter off with a very small story or small part. I was raped when I was little. So I think it's important to talk to women who are holding on to that. Any trauma never really truly releases in my belief system. And what I mean by that is we take wisdom from it. So we're still the walking symbol of growth, expansion, and evolution of a trauma. And so what we glean from that in those caveats becomes then where we can proselytize and share, uplift, support, build, and grow others. So I don't think trauma ever really leaves. It becomes a platform. If you use it in strength, wisdom, power, grace, and poise. So my chapter is about all the things that you all already said, except I'm telling it through the lens of Tantra specifically. I am a Tantric practitioner. I wasn't going to share, you know, my credentialing because there's so many. I've been doing this my whole life. I am a sacred feminine coach, so I help women unravel not only their emotional story, mentally, mostly mentally, but also their belief system, societal roles. And I use Tantra as the backdrop to bring in the mind, body, soul part. So I do soul awakening of soul purpose, gifts, and abilities through 3 different mediums, which I just named. But to me, this chapter was really important because these types of disassociations to ourself in general, we miss the body part. And in manifestation, we have to, I believe Yasmin said it best. We have to bring pleasure and bliss back into the body. So it's not just sexual. I told my story through sensuality because of my story, and I was disassociated from pleasure. And I had to find not only myself, but be comfortable with sensuality as a whole. And that created through tantric teachings, samadhi. And I got to experience that with a life partner a long time ago. But it's important to not just embody our beauty and the pleasure of connecting to all of life, because that is how we actually are manifesting. It's not just a thought. It's not just an emotion. We need to be in homeostasis. And if we forget about the body and our connection living in the vessel, this treasure of soul never really gets the fulfillment of the joy of being on the planet. So I talk about some tools to get there, and how to bring alive the sensation. I think Yasmin talked about somatic healing, so very important, because those cells are vibrating and they're still creating life, even though the mind says, I want a great job, or I want this. All of that is already percolating, and we do have to do very deep purification. So I told a whole story based on how to get that tantric fulfillment, sans sexual intimacy, because pleasure to me is sensual. Life is sensual. It's how we create all the things and the magical wonders we do. So I'm just excited to be amongst all of you telling wonderful stories. I can't wait to also connect with you all beyond the book, because we're all telling a story, and it's a story that needs to be told and supported by other women who are writing and talking about it. So I'd love to connect with you all beyond. And so thank you all for sharing. My heart just um, is really deeply connected to the sacred feminine design of a woman. So I honor each and every one of you for the path that you've taken and the courage that it took to tell your story.
Yeah, thank you all, ladies, for sharing. And these are very vulnerable stories. But I feel like this is so important and it's going to have such a massive impact because these are things people don't like to talk about, but they are things that we need to talk about, right? And we need to share so that women can feel comfortable, they can feel not alone. And thank you for some of you really diving in even a little deeper, right? And saying, okay, we can turn, that trauma into wisdom and knowledge and power. You can heal yourself, is what I'm hearing. You can restore that temple. You can move past. Don't let that past define you or control you. Right. You have options, like Anna said. What are my options? How can I take control over me and my world and myself? And really, by being those women, what we're going to pass down by the ones that observe us being those women, whether those be our children or our family members or our friends, just witnessing what you women are doing with that feminine power. So I am so excited for this book. I know Sylvia is ecstatic. She's got it there on her tablet ready to go for everybody. You can download the ebook now on Amazon. Sensual Symphony paperback coming out in just a couple short weeks, out to all retailers everywhere around the world. These women are going to be not just international bestsellers, but they are going to be the voice of sexuality and feminism for the world. And that's what this book is all about. And such a special group of ladies. Thank you for that, for showing up today and being vulnerable and sharing. And there's more authors in this book. This is not everyone. This is just everyone that could join us at this time. So we'll try to do another meet and greet with the authors, and hopefully we can have some other ladies jump in and join us too, because that would be amazing. But ladies, thank you so much for taking time to meet with me today on Tuesday and promote this book and promote women finding and establishing their sensuality and understanding how to use that feminine power. So, and a quick round robin around the room, and everybody just give one short little 30-second or less tip or trick you might already do with clients, just to help them either ground or center or, find themselves. So we'll go back around, and I'm going to start with Sylvia.
Beloved reader of our book, make sure to have a journal while reading our book, because every chapter has practical tips, beautiful exercises, some yummy, juicy things. Some have even links to download something, free gifts. I'm sharing a tapping process where I help you to embrace your sensuality. Don't treat the book just as a book, read it and then it's gone. Work through it. Maybe you read it even slowly and sensually, one chapter a week. Just treat it as your friend and use it to empower and liberate and fall in love with your glorious sensuality.
Great tip. Lindsay?
I just really want to hone in on being aware and acknowledging and accepting every part that kind of flows in throughout the book with everyone and where they're coming from, and to know that you can feel everything and really take that embodiment and be connected and guided and speak your authentic truth and know that you are enough as you are, as a divine feminine, a divine masculine, and that we can create such beautiful things and be so empowered by this entire world and be so supported through such an amazing world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Amber.
Oh, sorry. I thought we skipped Anna, but
Yeah.
I think that just being in this room, like, it's so powerful listening to everyone. And, you know, I'm sad that the other authors aren't here, because I just feel like we all have so much to offer in different ways. Our chapters are going to be written in our own voices, our own words. And, you know, when you're going through and reading the book, you might find that you connect with what one of us says over the other, but just really take in everything that everyone has to say and, you know, just embrace the process. I know I have some tips and tricks in my chapter, and it sounds like some of these other ladies do as well. And you don't have to do all the things, but really feel in your body what feels good to you.
Mm-hmm. Anna?
Just like Amber said, I don't want anyone feeling overwhelmed by all the tips and tricks that you're going to be reading in my chapter and everyone else's chapter. So like Sylvia said, you know, have your journal and maybe test out some stuff. You know, 1 week you do this, another week you do that. Take baby steps. You don't have to do all the things. I think even in my closing, I say, I give you 4 steps. You don't have to do them in order. You can do them in whichever order feels good for you. Just start somewhere. Try one thing at a time. Take your time, and just don't feel overwhelmed. There's time to embrace all the tips and tricks, whichever one feels good for you. Only you know what's best for yourself and for your family.
I love it. Lady Jasmine, what about you?
Can I please go last? I need a moment to catch my breath. Thank you.
What about you, Demetria? Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute. There you go. Go ahead. Oh, it's not unmuting.
Okay. Everyone can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I think what I would like to share here as one of the tools is being able to go from shame to safety to sovereignty within your body requires, or what I utilize is yoni mapping and finding where in the body we are holding on to. So I've taken a traditional tantric method and modernized it shamaically to be able to feel where we are connecting to these parts in our emotional story for the release. So just sitting with yourself. If you have a morning routine, like a lymphatic routine, bring it down to your hip area. You can just use your hands just to kind of walk through where you are feeling. A lymphatic walk also does helps you connect physically to the area, and then gently talking to the body are the things that I share in my chapter, and how to reground yourself and center yourself after sleep, so that you can really speak into your truth and not just saying affirmations and things that are not congruent or aligned. You can realign yourself first thing in the morning, so you're prepared to receive all the opportunities and synchronicities. So when we do that nightly or in the morning, we're setting our body up for its restorative cycle. So that's kind of one of the tools that I talk about and discuss in the chapter.
Great. Thank you. All right, Lottie. What do you got?
Okay, thank you for that, Grace. Okay, so many wonderful tips have come through, and The book is going to have even more, and it's probably going to be overwhelming. Make sure you have a roll of tissue next to you and your journal. The biggest thing that I will say is really just breathe. Breathe through it, okay? You're going to be triggered. You're going to maybe want to throw the book across the room. You're going to maybe want to say, to hell with this, it's too much. Put a hand on your heart and breathe. And remember, and just repeat to yourself, I woke up today. It is safe to be me. All I am is valid. All those challenges, those triggers, those uncomfortable places, those are your growing edges. And you do not have to rush through it. Everybody has their own pace. Everybody has their own process. Breathe. Take your time. Acknowledge what is arising for you in the moment. Be gentle with yourself. And eventually, I know that you will arrive where we have arrived today.
Yeah.
I love you, beautiful, sacred, sovereign soul. Thank you for choosing you today through the witness of our stories.
Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful way to end it. Thank you, ladies, so much. Go out, get the book on Amazon. Sensual Symphony coming out to all retailers in just a few short weeks, but get the ebook, get started. All right, ladies, thank you for joining me. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your week.